Now, just a couple of days ago, it was announced the WNBA Players Union had voted to authorize a strike against the NBA owners. I just say NBA owners because every team is owned by an NBA owner except for two. All right? And they're trying to get one of those to an NBA owner, which is the Houston Rockets owner. And they announced that they brave, stunning, and courageously would authorize a strike.
The WNBA Players Association just authorized a strike against the league, and the reaction from sports fans: absolute disbelief. Because here's what makes this different from every other labor dispute you've seen. The WNBA has never turned a profit in its 27-year history. Every team, except two, is owned by NBA franchises who've been subsidizing losses for nearly 3 decades. And now, with the league finally gaining momentum thanks to one player's impact, the union just threatened to walk away from a deal that would increase maximum salaries from $250,000 to nearly $2 million. That's an 800% raise, and they're saying no.
Thursday morning, because David Sampson, who's a really, really freaking smart sports business guy, came out and said the NBA is going to draw the line on revenue sharing. And they will draw the line to the point of shutting the WNBA's doors down. They are not going to give the revenue sharing that the WNBA players want. And the women will compromise. and so I had a theory when I made that video that they did this to publicly save face before they...
David Sampson knows how owners think. He's the former president of the Miami Marlins, and he doesn't mince words about labor negotiations. When he says the NBA will draw a line on revenue sharing and shut the WNBA down before crossing it, that's not speculation. That's someone who's sat in those rooms, telling you exactly what's about to happen. The players want 50-50 revenue sharing, like NBA players get. The owners are offering significant salary increases, but refusing to share revenue from a league that loses money every single season. One side is operating in financial reality, the other is operating on principle, and principles don't pay mortgages when your league folds.
Call it 250. So you mean to tell me y'all are not going to sign a deal where you get, let's call it a 7.5 to 8 times raise? You're not signing a deal with a 7 times salary increase. Let's just call it 7 times. Are you absurd? I mean, that's a great way for these players to lose the support of fans. By the way, they're losing the support of fans. Because the biggest complaint all these years is they didn't
reactions. These aren't trolls or haters. These are people who've been watching the WNBA, who've been supporting the growth, who actually care about the product, and they're calling the players clowns. They're saying the leadership is embarrassing. They're pointing out that players with ownership stakes in other leagues might actually benefit if the WNBA collapses. That's not coming from a place of misogyny or disrespect. That's coming from fans who watched this league struggle for 27 years, who finally saw it gain traction in 2024, and now they're watching the players threaten to destroy all that momentum over a revenue-sharing demand that makes zero business sense. The current CBA expires in October 2025. The new offer from owners includes raising the salary cap from $1.46 million per team to over $3 million by the end of the deal. The maximum individual salary would jump from $249,000 to $1,900,000. Minimum salaries would more than double, and the players' union's response? Authorize a strike because they want a cut of revenue that doesn't exist.
This is not going to end well. The entire leadership is made up of players who have ownership stakes in other leagues. And it's beneficial for them to kill the WNBA. When are the rest of the players going to boot them out of their roles? Embarrassing as F. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. How that could be happening. I will stop watching the WNBA cold turkey like how I left my first wife. Don't mess this up. They definitely have the wrong players representing the players. And I don't understand why none of that's... There's things that go on in this league that would never, ever, a million times...
Here's what fans understand that the Players Association seems to miss. You can't revenue share losses. The NBA's 50-50 split works because the NBA generates $11 billion in annual revenue and turns massive profits. The players get half of something substantial. The WNBA generates roughly $200 million in revenue and loses an estimated $10 to $40 million per year, depending on which estimates you believe. NBA owners have been covering those losses out of their own pockets since 1997. So, when players demand the same revenue-sharing structure as a league that's 40 times larger and actually profitable, it's not brave or stunning, it's financially illiterate, and the timing couldn't be worse. The 2024 season saw record attendance and viewership, driven almost entirely by Caitlin Clark's rookie campaign. The Indiana Fever went from averaging 4,000 fans per game to selling out arenas. National TV ratings tripled for games she played in. Merchandise sales exploded. For the first time in the league's history, there was genuine mainstream momentum. Corporate sponsors were paying attention. Expansion talks were serious. And right at this moment of maximum leverage and opportunity, the Players Association decides to threaten a work stoppage.
Crazy. Yawn, the small interest I have to watch will be gone if they strike. Would anyone notice? A lot of people, they are getting clowned. They are actually getting clowned. They have a professional women's basketball league. When did that begin? The fan base is still not invested enough to sustain the league if they strike. No. I mean, it's crazy. The WNBA has never turned a profit for 30 years, meaning the NBA and more so the...
That comparison to the 5 feet 8 inches YouTuber isn't just trolling, that's referencing a real event that went viral. When casual fans watch a WNBA All-Star struggle against an amateur content creator, and then see those same players demanding NBA-level compensation, the disconnect becomes impossible to ignore. Fair or not, that's the perception battle the league is fighting, and authorizing a strike doesn't help win that battle. It reinforces every negative stereotype about the league being entitled rather than earning its way to financial stability. The Players Association is led by Nneka Agwamike, who's been vocal about compensation equality. But equality in what sense? The NBA generates $45 in revenue per viewer, while the WNBA generates about $3 per viewer. NBA players fill 20,000-seat arenas at premium ticket prices for 82 games per season. WNBA players fill smaller venues at lower prices for 40 games. The economic fundamentals are completely different, and demanding identical revenue-sharing structures ignores those fundamentals entirely.
Look, it's kind of weird. We all just got a trial run on what it was like to not be able to see Caitlin Clark on the court. It sucked. It sucked, but... these players haven't done enough as of yet. They haven't. I mean, it's crazy. They just saved the owner's money. Go ahead and strike and do a clean out. Play with your rookie contracts and ask anyone overseas if they want to play and anyone else who wants to play. Just clean house. You know.
And here's the nuclear option. Nobody's talking about replacement players. The rookies are under contract. They can't strike. So, you'd have Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink when she returns from her ACL tear, and every other player on a rookie deal still playing. Then the owners could sign international players from European leagues, who would jump at the chance to play in America for six-figure salaries. The EuroLeague women are full of talented players making $30,000 to $60,000 per season overseas. You think they'd honor a WNBA strike? They'd be on planes within 48 hours. The Players Association might be betting that the NBA owners won't let the league fold because of optics and political pressure, but that's a dangerous bet. These are business people who've built billion-dollar franchises by making hard financial decisions. They've weathered lockouts before. They've moved teams, fired coaches, traded superstars, all in service of the bottom line. The idea that they'll cave to pressure and agree to share revenue from a money-losing operation because it's the right thing to do, that's not how this works.
Man, so tired of the women fatigue. It's crazy. It is crazy. This is an opportunity for the owners and stakeholders of the WNBA to reboot the league. You will get tons of international fans. Will anyone actually notice or care? Seriously, if the league folds, would anybody really miss it? And I can tell you, as soon as I drop one of these videos, I get a ton of these comments.
Look at that comment about women fatigue. That's not coming from someone who hates women's sports. That's coming from someone who's tired of the constant narrative that everything is unfair, everything is discriminatory, everything is someone else's fault. The WNBA has been given every advantage. NBA owners funding losses for decades, shared arenas and practice facilities, cross-promotion during NBA broadcasts, priority scheduling to avoid competition with men's sports. And it's still not profitable. At some point, the conversation has to shift from what the league deserves to what the league has earned. The players want to point to rising attendance and viewership as proof they deserve more. Fine, but one good season after 26 years of losses doesn't erase the debt. It doesn't suddenly make the business model viable. It means you're finally moving in the right direction. And maybe, just maybe, you should take the massive raise being offered, prove you can sustain the growth, and then negotiate from a position of actual strength in the next CBA cycle.